Today we are going to introduce a kind of a personal topic that a writer should do for him or herself. Usually when someone writes, it's not appropriate to hand in your piece of writing, either if you are going to submit it for a class or any other situation, or send it in such as an application, a personal letter, and what have you, without giving yourself time to revise and edit what you wrote. Because it's most likely that when someone writes, there are going to be some problems with grammar, some problems with spelling, and if you are so good in grammar and so good in spelling that there are no problems, there might be problems in style where you could say what you just said, or you could write what you just wrote in a better way. So making your piece of writing much more refined and having much more better quality is or can be a result of your revision and editing. So it is indeed a very important let's say a very important step before you submit or send in what you just wrote. And like I said, that being either something for class or something personal. So whatever you wrote, for whatever reason, it is very, very advisable and desirable that you do some revising and you do some editing. And editing means, kind of fixing all the problems, if any. Okay, so in your case, being students, it would be nice that you actually revise and edit by yourself before you hand in your piece of writing, your composition or your paragraph or your essay. And that is through going. That can happen through going by going through the sentences you wrote and see if the organization is good, if your topic sentence is formulated in a very good manner. Or acceptable manner. Could it be made better? And asking yourself questions about spelling and ways of actually saying things. And after you go through all of this, you could look more closely into what you wrote and see if you wrote made sense or not. Maybe the grammar is okay, maybe the spelling is okay, but maybe what you just wrote didn't make sense at all, or seemed funny, or seemed very sad, or seemed very difficult for someone to follow. So what's the purpose of your writing? You go back to your purpose. Is it your purpose to make it seem difficult? Is it your purpose to make it seem elegant or clear or easy to follow? It really has to do with what you intended in the first place. But go back and revise what you wrote and see if that happens or not. If you see if you've achieved what you intended. Okay, so revising and editing is very important. It's a very important step that should not be neglected by any writer whatsoever. Even professional writers do revising and editing, and sometimes, some of them, most of them maybe, actually have people, very expert, experienced, professional people to do the revising and editing for them. So it is a big deal. It is something you can actually become make a career out of and become an editor yourself. So it is a big deal. It is something important. So it is something that you should do whenever you write, before submitting anything. So you actually do it more than once. So that's why what they call by first draft. That's the first one you write. Second draft, second one you write after you do the editing, and then you leave it for a while, and then come back to it and read it again and find all of these problems and nitty-gritties in the piece of writing, and that is important for you to consider. And one of the things that you might look at in your writing is evaluating your expressions. And what we mean by that is sometimes when you write something, you might use expressions that are very strong, and you might use expressions that are moderate. Now, using moderate and strong expressions is okay, but they're okay only if they fit the thing you're writing about. And what we mean by that is, if you are giving a strong opinion and you want to impose that and you want to make it clear, you go ahead and use strong expressions. But if you don't have a strong opinion, you know, you don't have that strong feeling about something, why should you use a strong expression? You should use a moderate expression. So if you intended to use, if you actually do have a strong opinion, you can use strong expressions. If you have a moderate opinion, use moderate expressions. But let's say if you have a moderate opinion and you go ahead and use strong expressions, that means that you're doing something wrong, and it doesn't make sense. You see, you're going to confuse the reader, and stylistically, it's not good. It just doesn't read good. So here are some strong and moderate expressions. When you say, I disagree with, so that's strong. Well, look, I actually put it moderate here because some people actually disagreed with me in calling it strong, and I kind of agreed with them, you know, because if I compare it to the rest, to the other strong ones, it really is. It kind of sounds moderate. Right. Let's take a strong one, which is number 2. So there's the beginning of the sentence, and then you come to the part where you say, it's total nonsense. It's total nonsense. Now that's very strong. When you say something is total nonsense, that's very strong indeed. Okay, when you compare it to I disagree, well, I don't know. It's not as strong as I disagree. Okay, so this is a matter of opinion. I really feel that I disagree is moderate. I don't know about you. You might disagree with me, fine. Go with your feeling. It's okay. Number 3, my opinion is that. You see, my opinion is that, that's moderate. You know, you don't have a strong feeling about it. My opinion is this, your opinion is that, and let's still be friends. I'm okay with everything. Okay? But let's look at number 4, and when you say is immoral. Immoral, meaning that's something very bad. When something is immoral, there's no morality in this. That's very strong when you say something is immoral. So it's definitely much stronger than saying my opinion is. Okay, so you see, these expressions have been used in sentences to express something, and it just so happens that just keep in mind that if you are in a position to express a strong view, a strong opinion, it's okay to use strong expressions. But if your position is strong and you have strong feelings about it, it wouldn't be a good idea to use moderate expressions. It's not a good idea. You have to use strong expressions. On the other hand, if you don't have an opinion, you're okay, you're easy about something, it wouldn't be a good idea to use strong expressions. You should actually use moderate expressions, all right? Now, let's move to the next slide here, and we're still doing that revising and editing thing, but only this time we're going to look at the book and see what are some or four problems some people actually fall into and don't pay attention to when they write. And once they revise their work, they actually should look for these observations, which are false analogy, overgeneralization, irrelevant argument, and circular reasoning. Okay? So these are four faulty reasoning methods that you could fall into while you're writing your essay or paragraph or composition. Okay. Let's just move to the book. All right. And this is page 56. Okay. Page 56. Right. Okay. So here you have an example. Let's just read together here, please. When you revise a piece of writing that includes reasons that support opinions, you should make sure that you haven't used faulty reasoning. Following are definitions and examples of different kinds of faulty reasoning. These are different kinds of faulty reasonings that we're going to introduce. Now, the first one is false analogy. False analogy. What is that? And that is assuming that two things are similar in all ways just because they are similar in one or two ways. So, when you have something that is similar in one or two ways and you say, okay, fine, then they're exactly the same. Okay, they might agree in 2 or 3 points, but not everything. So that's false analogy. It's called false analogy, and a lot of people fall into that problem. Let's just take an example of an opinion here. Okay, dancing is the same as fighting. Okay? Yeah, that's just wrong. Okay? The reason, both are done with a partner. Okay? So, you see, this is false analogy. This person or this writer is saying that fighting is exactly the same as dancing. And what are the reasons for this? Why? Why did he come to this conclusion? Why did he say this? For one reason, that both are done with a partner. You need a partner to fight with, and you need a partner to dance with. So therefore, he says or she says, they're the same thing. Okay? And that's wrong, of course. So this is false analogy. Just because both activities include two people does not mean they are the same. Okay? Let's just go through this real quick. Okay? Number 2. Okay. Number 2, overgeneralization. Saying that something is true for all people or situations when it is only true for someone, for some, or making a general statement based on only a few cases. Example, rich men aren't generous. Okay, that's your overgeneralization. Rich men are not generous. Why? Why do you say this? What makes you say this? Okay, here's my reason. There is a wealthy man who comes into the restaurant where I am a waiter, and he never leaves a tip. He never leaves a tip. So, is this right to say? Just because one person didn't leave you a tip, that means all rich men are not generous? Well, this is an overgeneralization. The opinion is based on the case of only one person. Okay. Irrelevant argument. Irrelevant argument. Number 3. Okay. Irrelevant argument. Give an example or reason that does not relate to the opinion. Okay. So let's just say you're talking about something and you give you go ahead and talk about something else totally not related, and that's just wrong. An example: I don't think the accountant was the one who stole money from the company. Okay, why do you think that, Mr. or Mrs. Writer? Reason: she is so nice. She always says hello to me. So just because she says hello to you, you don't think she's the one who stole the money. And that's just ridiculous, because it's irrelevant. You know, saying hello to someone or being nice to someone doesn't make them thieves. Many thieves say hello and the like. So the fact that a person is friendly and seems nice has nothing to do with whether she is capable of stealing. An irrelevant argument might also suggest that because one event follows another, it relates to it when it really doesn't. So an example of that would be something like that. Borrowing money always causes problems. Okay. The reason: 2 days after Mario borrowed money from a friend, he had a car accident. Oh my goodness, what is the relationship between these two? There is no. Between borrowing money from a friend and having a car accident. That's just ridiculous. Obviously, Mario's car accident was not caused by borrowing money, of course. So the last point is circular reasoning. Circular reasoning Let's get the light out here. Okay. Okay. Well, you might not be able to see. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So circular reasoning, which is giving a reason that only restates the opinion in different words. So it's like saying the same thing, but in different words. So you really didn't give a reason. You just said the same thing, but in different words. And that's called circular reasoning. Give an example. Peter never lies. Okay? The reason? He's always truthful. So you see, he's always truthful is the same as Peter never lies. When you say Peter never lies, it's just the same as Peter is truthful, is always truthful. So you didn't really give a reason for Peter not being a liar or not lying. So in the example above, the reason is restatement of the opinion. This is circular reasoning, and all of these 4 points should be avoided when you write your essay. Right. So we left this page blank, thinking that we might have something to write, and I'd like to thank you for attending this lecture, and I look forward to seeing you in lecture 10. Thank you very much.